You ever feel like you're meant for more, but somehow life keeps you stuck in the same loop? You keep waiting for the right time, the perfect plan, or that one magical moment where everything clicks, and suddenly you become the person you've always envisioned. But let me tell you something you already know deep down. No one is coming to give you permission. There is no green light. There is no sign from the sky. If you're waiting for someone to tap you on the shoulder and say, all right, now it's your turn to win, you're going to wait forever. Because the world doesn't reward the hesitant. It forgets them. It rewards those who decide, those who stop asking and start acting. That's the difference between the people who build something real and the ones who only talk about it. This isn't about hype. This isn't about motivation. This is about waking up and realizing that if you don't take control of your life, someone else will, and they won't build your dream. They'll use you to build theirs. You want to live like the top 1%, then you need to think like them, move like them, and most importantly, act like them. They didn't wait, they chose. And today, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to stop waiting for permission and start proving who the fuck you are, starting now. Stop watching others, start building yourself. Every second you spend watching someone else win is a second you steal from your own journey. You're sitting there scrolling, liking, sharing someone else's success, forgetting that those same hours could have been bricks in your foundation. You admire their confidence, their physique, their lifestyle, their freedom, but the problem is you admire more than you act. You want it, but you're watching it like it's a show instead of making it your mission. You've been hypnotized into thinking other people's lives are entertainment and yours is just background noise. But that's a trap. That's how you waste your potential, by turning your hunger into jealousy instead of fuel. You see, there's a difference between watching a champion and becoming one. Champions don't have time to compare. They're too busy perfecting, too busy refining, too busy grinding when no one is watching. And while you're distracted by someone's highlight reel, you're ignoring your own raw footage. The ugly, the unpolished, the uncomfortable. But that's where greatness begins. Not in the spotlight, not in the comments, not in the applause. It begins in silence. It begins when you choose to close the app, close the tab, turn off the noise and turn inward. When you stop asking what are they doing and start asking what haven't I done yet. That's when it shifts, because you'll realize that nobody has what you don't earn. No one is outworking you unless you allow it. No one's smarter, better, or more gifted. They're just more focused. And they weren't born that way. They made a decision to start, a decision to make progress a priority, not a fantasy. And you've got that same decision in front of you every single day, but you keep hesitating. You keep waiting for motivation when what you need is clarity. Clarity that your time is finite, that nobody will do it for you, that everything you say you want is being held hostage by your own distractions. Look around. Everybody's trying to go viral. Everybody wants a shortcut. Everybody's building brands before they've built character. But what if instead of trying to be seen, you became undeniable? What if you didn't post every rep, every meal, every move, but you still got sharper, stronger, wealthier? What if your results spoke so loudly one day, they had no choice but to pay attention? That's what happens when you stop watching and start building. You lay brick after brick while the world scrolls. You become dangerous in silence. You become rare in a world full of noise. Your future self is begging you to get off autopilot. He's watching you waste time, waste energy, waste chances. He doesn't care who's trending or who got what deal. He only cares about what you're doing right now to become him. Because that version of you, the disciplined, locked-in, unstoppable version, isn't built on comparison. He's built on reps. He's built on choices. He's built on sacrifices that felt lonely but paid off. That version of you is closer than you think, but you won't reach him watching others. You reach him by becoming the man others watch. Silence is the environment where real power is built. People talk too much. They talk about what they're gonna do, what they're planning, what they're manifesting. But the truth is, the more you speak on it, the less you execute. Power doesn't grow in public, it grows in private. The loudest man in the room is rarely the most dangerous. The real threat is the one you didn't notice, the one who skipped the party, the one who was in the gym when everyone else was at brunch, the one who was building systems while everyone else was building excuses. That man understood something you still need to grasp. Silence is a weapon. In silence, there's clarity. No outside opinions, no need for validation, just you versus you. You versus the old version. You versus the voice that says, take it easy today. That's the war that matters. And when you stay quiet, when you grind in the shadows, you start becoming someone different. You start seeing results that don't need filters or explanations. You start creating proof, not opinions, not hype, but undeniable results. And those results are forged in isolation. When no one's clapping, when no one's watching, when no one believes, but you still do. There's a reason the most powerful men don't talk. They just move. They don't explain what they're doing. They just let the world find out when it's too late, when the separation is already massive, when the gap is too wide to close, because they've been building while everyone else was busy talking. That's where you need to be. In that space where there's nothing to prove and everything to earn. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to post every move. Just focus, just commit, just execute like your future's on the line, because it is. People think silence is weakness, that not sharing your plans means you're not confident, but silence is confidence. It's the refusal to waste time explaining things to people who can't even comprehend your vision. It's the understanding that energy is currency, and you can't afford to spend it on validation. Every time you post your next step, you leak power. Every time you overtalk, you underdeliver. That's why the sharpest killers say less. That's why the most elite minds guard their focus like treasure. They know that momentum isn't built in the crowd, it's built in the dark. And while the world's chasing attention, you need to be chasing improvement. Not likes, not views, not followers. Skill, discipline, mastery. That's the real flex. That's what turns men into kings. Not the volume of their voice, but the depth of their craft. The ability to let results do all the talking. You won't need to shout when your life starts echoing with success. You won't need to explain when your presence speaks louder than your words. You'll just walk into rooms and feel the energy shift. Because you earned it in silence. Because you chose the grind over the applause. Because you realized early, the louder you are, the less you're doing. And the quieter you become, the more dangerous you get. Discipline is louder than motivation. Motivation is loud in the beginning. It gives you the hype. It tricks you into feeling like you're ready. Like this is the moment everything changes. You watch a video, hear a speech, scroll past a post, and suddenly you feel like you can conquer the world. But then what? What happens when that energy fades? When the music stops? When the day hits you in the face with real problems? That's where most people break. Because they were depending on a temporary flame to fuel a lifelong fire. They thought motivation was enough. But it's not. It never was. Motivation might get you to start, but only discipline will make you stay. Discipline isn't exciting. It doesn't come with applause or hype. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It whispers at 5 a.m. when your alarm goes off and your body tells you to stay in bed. It whispers when your friends are relaxing and you're still pushing. It whispers when there's no camera, no audience, no instant reward. Discipline is what separates boys from men. The ones who only act when it's easy, from the ones who show up no matter what. Discipline is the reason one guy keeps growing while the other keeps restarting. One is emotionally stable, the other is emotionally addicted. Addicted to feeling ready, addicted to being hyped. But the world doesn't care if you feel ready. The world only cares if you produce. When you build discipline, you don't wait for the right mood. You build your day around non-negotiables. You don't negotiate with weakness. You don't let your emotions vote on your actions. Because if you do, you lose. Every time you let comfort decide your future, you delay the man you're supposed to become. Discipline is ruthless with comfort. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your reasons. It only responds to commitment. It's what you do when you don't feel like it that defines who you really are. Anyone can work hard on a good day, but winners work through every kind of day. Rain, pain, noise, chaos, they show up anyway. You've got to stop relying on sparks and start building systems. Motivation fades, but systems don't. If your life is built on feeling good, you'll collapse the moment things get hard, and they will get hard. That's guaranteed. So what's your strategy when motivation's gone? That's where discipline lives. In the habits you build, the standards you raise, the promises you keep to yourself. Because that's what self-respect is. It's not about self-love and softness. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. The most dangerous man in the room is the one who doesn't need to feel inspired to act. He acts because it's his identity. He trains because it's who he is. He works because he said he would. That's discipline. You don't need to feel it. You need to become it. Let others get gassed up on motivation. Let them ride the highs and crash on the lows. You stay even. You stay consistent. Because you know discipline makes you unstoppable. Discipline makes you invincible. It's not emotional. It's principle. It's standard. It's the contract you sign with yourself when nobody's watching and nobody's clapping. And the longer you live disciplined, the less you crave motivation. You stop chasing feelings and start chasing growth. You stop chasing quick wins and start building a long legacy. That's the mindset that levels up your health, your wealth, your mind, your circle. Not hype, not hustle culture, but discipline. Quiet, steady, daily execution. The kind of discipline that turns a boy into a weapon. The kind that doesn't scream for attention, but earns it without saying a word. That's when your life gets loud. Not because you're shouting, but because your results are screaming for you. You are your only responsibility. Nobody's coming to wake you up in the morning. Nobody's forcing you to improve. Nobody owes you a plan, a path, or a push. You're not entitled to anything just because you were born. That harsh truth, that's your advantage. Because the second you realize that no one is responsible for your future but you take the power back. You stop waiting for help, for advice, for handouts. You stop playing the victim and start owning your life like a CEO, like a king. Like a man who refuses to be at the mercy of circumstance. You are your only responsibility. Your habits, your mindset, your goals, your decisions. That's your job, that's your domain. And the more you try to blame your parents, your friends, your past, your environment, the longer you stay stuck. The world doesn't care about your reasons. Results don't listen to your story. Results listen to action. They listen to ownership. The truth is, you can have all the excuses in the world, or you can have progress, but you can't have both. Every time you point the finger outwards, you rob yourself of the ability to change. But when you point the finger inward, you unlock something powerful: control, direction, responsibility. And with responsibility comes transformation. Nobody's gonna save you. Not the government, not your mentor, not some mystery opportunity that falls in your lap. If your life is a mess, clean it. If your mind is weak, train it. If your bank account is empty, earn it. It's not complicated, it's just uncomfortable. But that's where growth lives, on the other side of taking full responsibility for every area of your life. Your energy, your time, your output, your standards, your habits. It's all on you. And that's the best news you'll ever hear, because that means you control the outcome. Most people are addicted to being taken care of. They want to be babied. They want someone to tell them what to do, how to think, how to act. But that's a slave mindset. That's the mindset of someone who's surrendered their power. You weren't born to be managed. You were born to lead yourself. And leadership starts with personal responsibility. The moment you start treating yourself like someone you're in charge of, everything changes. You stop lying to yourself. You stop making excuses. You stop tolerating weak standards. You become strict with your time, your diet, your circle, your goals. Responsibility doesn't mean you have to do everything alone. It means you own everything you allow into your life. If your circle's lazy, you chose them. If your routine is broken, you allowed it. If your standards are low, you set them. Take that personally. Take that seriously. Because once you accept full responsibility, there's no limit to what you can fix. Your problems don't control you anymore. You control them. And that kind of power is rare. That kind of power is what makes men great. Not luck, not pity, not privilege. Responsibility. Ruthless, radical, undeniable ownership over your existence. When you become your own responsibility, you stop waiting for motivation, permission, or perfect timing. You stop needing people to believe in you. You stop explaining yourself. You just move. You just work. You just execute. Because deep down, you know it's on you. And that's not a burden. That's a blessing. That means you're free. Free to succeed. Free to fail. Free to rise. And that freedom is what separates you from the crowd. Most people will spend their entire lives avoiding responsibility. You make it your foundation. You build on it. You grow from it. You become unstoppable because of it. Protect your energy, like your future depends on it. Most people don't understand how sacred energy is. They spend their time giving it to everything and everyone. Endless scrolling, dead conversations, fake friendships, pointless arguments and distractions disguised as entertainment. And then they wonder why they feel drained, anxious, confused. It's because they never took ownership over the most important currency they have: focus. Energy is not unlimited. You don't get to throw it away on nonsense and still expect to have enough left to build a life of excellence. Your energy is your edge. It's your power source. If you don't protect it, you become powerless in a world that's designed to distract and weaken you. Every day you're being attacked, not by enemies with weapons, but by algorithms, notifications, ads, noise. Everything is trying to hijack your attention. Every second you lose to distractions is a second stolen from your dreams. And most people will never notice this because they live life in reactive mode. They wake up and instantly give their energy away. They check their phone before they check their mindset. They absorb the world before they've created their world. And that's why they stay average. That's why they feel lost. Because they're never operating from a place of strength. They're constantly leaking it. To win in this game, you need to start treating your energy like a limited resource, like something valuable. You need to guard your time like it's gold. You need to filter your conversations like they cost you something, because they do. Every low-value interaction you entertain steals energy you could have spent on your growth. Every weak environment you stay in makes your path longer. Every time you lower your standards for comfort, for validation, for company, you lose more of yourself. You dilute your focus. You weaken your vision. You slow your momentum. The world won't teach you this. The world will reward you for being social, for being passive, for being accessible. But kings aren't always available. Warriors don't answer every message. Builders don't attend every party. They're not being rude, they're being intentional. They know what they're building and they refuse to let cheap energy steal the blueprint. If it doesn't align, it's out. If it doesn't elevate, it's gone. You've got to become ruthless about who and what gets your attention. Not in an arrogant way, but in a purposeful way. Because your purpose deserves to be protected. You want more clarity? Protect your mornings. Stop waking up and absorbing other people's energy. Start the day with intention, not reaction. You want more strength? Protect your nights. Go to bed early, not scrolling through someone else's success. You want more confidence? Protect your environment. Surround yourself with people who sharpen you, not those who soften your ambition. You want more power? Protect your thoughts. Don't let weakness live rent-free in your mind. Reject it, replace it, fight it. Your mental space is sacred. Every negative thought you allow is a seed. Kill it before it grows roots. You don't need to do more. You need to protect more. Guard your routines. Guard your boundaries. Guard your focus. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware. Aware of where your energy is going, and whether it's leading you forward or pulling you back. Aware of the invisible costs of distraction. Aware of how often you're being influenced without even knowing it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you feel the difference between a focused mind and a scattered one, you'll never go back. You'll get addicted to presence. You'll crave discipline. You'll start valuing your peace over popularity, your silence over noise, your mission over moments. You've got to become intentional with what you allow into your life. Audit your inputs. What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you feeding your mind, your body, your soul? Everything is programming you. Every small exposure is either building you or breaking you. and you get to choose. You get to choose what world you operate in. You get to choose who drains you and who fuels you. And if you don't make that choice consciously, the world will make it for you. Protect your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. The version of you that you're working towards is only possible if you have the energy to become him. Don't let temporary dopamine rob you of permanent freedom. Don't let small people with small minds pull you into their chaos. Don't let unimportant tasks, unimportant thoughts, and unimportant opinions slow down your momentum. Your energy is sacred. Guard it with your life. Obsession is the birthplace of mastery. The world tells you to stay balanced, stay calm, take it easy. They'll say, don't work too hard, like it's a badge of honor to be average. They'll shame you for being too focused, too driven, too obsessed. But what they call obsession, winners call alignment. What they call crazy, champions call necessary. Because greatness is never born from balance. It's born from fire, from tunnel vision, from the relentless, almost irrational pursuit of something greater. Obsession isn't the enemy. It's the entrance to mastery. It's the fuel that keeps burning when motivation dies. It's the hunger that never leaves, even after you've eaten. If you look at anyone who dominates in their field, athletes, artists, creators, leaders, they all have one thing in common: obsession. They weren't halfway in. They weren't part-time committed. They gave everything. They sacrificed, isolated, locked in, and kept going long after the excitement faded. Obsession made them different, made them stand out, made them impossible to ignore. You think you want success, but have you obsessed over it? Have you lost sleep over it? Have you bled for it, cried for it, worked through pain for it? Because that's what it takes. Not some shallow goal-setting session, not some motivational burst, but full-blown, all-in, no plan B obsession. Most people dabble. They try something for a week, then quit. They expect results without obsession. They want elite outcomes with average effort. But mastery doesn't come to the casual. It doesn't reveal itself to the comfortable. Mastery comes when you say, I don't care what it costs, I will win. It comes when you eat, breathe, think, train, speak in alignment with your vision. Every step calculated, every hour maximized, every distraction cut. Not because someone told you to, but because you can't do it any other way. You're possessed by the goal. Not because you want attention, but because you want to become something real. And the truth is, obsession will make you misunderstood. People won't get it. They'll call you intense, extreme, even arrogant. They'll say you're doing too much, but that's how you know you're on the right path. Because mastery is lonely. It's supposed to be. That loneliness is a filter. It weeds out the ones who are faking it. Obsession doesn't need a crowd. It doesn't need validation. It's internal. You keep going because you can't stop. You refuse to slow down because the mission is too important. You see what others don't. You hear what they ignore. You feel what they've numbed out. And that's your advantage. People don't remember the balanced. They remember the obsessed. They remember the ones who were relentless, who gave everything, who sacrificed their comfort, their time, their relationships, even their health for something that mattered more. Obsession makes you dangerous. It turns average men into legends. It rewires your brain, reshapes your identity, rebuilds your standards. You're not trying anymore. You are. You've become the thing you were chasing. That's the real power of obsession. It transforms you, not just your results, but your essence. Your language changes, your posture changes, your energy shifts, and the world feels it. You've got to stop being afraid of being too into something. The world needs more obsessed men, more men who give a damn, more men who go all in. Stop listening to the people who tell you to calm down. Calm doesn't build empires. Calm doesn't forge legacies. Calm doesn't rewrite bloodlines. Let them be chill. Let them be balanced. You, be obsessed. Because if you're not obsessed, you'll be forgotten. You'll blend in. You'll settle. And you'll look back with regret, knowing that you had the fire, but you let the world water it down. Obsession isn't optional. It's essential. It's not crazy. It's the cost of greatness. There's a version of you that doesn't waste time. A version of you that isn't constantly distracted, doesn't fold under pressure, doesn't live for comfort. He exists. He's just buried under years of noise, mental noise, digital noise, social noise. And if you want to reach him, if you want to become him, then there's no shortcut. You have to eliminate, you have to cut, you have to protect your focus like it's your last breath. Because in this world, attention is the new currency. And if they can control your focus, they already own your future. So stop giving pieces of yourself away to people, platforms, and habits that don't care if you succeed. Stop getting pulled into chaos that doesn't align with where you're going. The more silent you become, the more you hear. The more ruthless you become with your attention, the more magnetic your presence becomes. Focus isn't just how you win, it's how you separate. It's how you become the man nobody saw coming until it was too late. You don't need more time, you need more clarity. And clarity comes through focus. The kind of focus that makes you invisible to distractions and impossible to ignore when the opportunity arrives.